All right, everyone. So I was going back and forth on how I was going to make this video, whether I should have like a screen cap of what I'm reading and you could actually see this, or if I should just read it. And I thought, you know what? People want to see me using the shotgun and getting some kills or getting killed myself, but they want to see that instead of that. So if you guys would have preferred the other way, put that in the comments. And for future videos like this, I will change it. But for this one, Gears Head, the Twitter account is GearsHead02, tweeted out this. Okay, Gears of War Reloaded has been out a couple of days now. What's something you want them to fix in a future update or add to the game? So this had 68 responses to it. So I figured I want to read what the people are saying and see what people want fixed. Before I read it though, I realized as I was clicking that this guy actually has a Twitch stream. So his name is GearsHead08, and the link he has is twitch.tv/GearsHead08. And that's a 08 at the end. So go check him out. I just figured it's worth, if we're going to be using his Twitter thread, we should be shouting him out a little bit too. So go check that out as well. But we're going to get into it. Okay. So the first Twitter user said, fix the one shot down. Nasher has too much range. This is something that with Gears of War, it's always frustrating. This goes back to even like Gears of War 2. Like I remember active reload, host power, all of that kind of stuff. If you got a kill with a shotgun, you automatically were being accused of being the host or something, right? Which in some cases that was probably the case, but not always. So I understand why this is frustrating. And it does seem that in this game, there is kind of that weird thing of like, you never really know, first off, when you're going to get a down, and second off, when you get down. Like, you just never really know. And I do think that's frustrating for players because, when you're trying to think, okay, how am I going to tackle this battle? It's kind of tough when you're like, I don't really know how much power I'm going to be doing, or how much power he's going to be doing to me. With that being said, this would be a much bigger issue to me if there were like players who are like, okay, some games I get 50 kills and other games I get none. There's people that are pretty consistently getting high kill games. And so that to me says, even if it's kind of like, if it's like 10% a problem, like 90% is, you just got to continue to build out skills. Like even for me, I played Gears of War all the time. Gears of War 2, I I mean, the amount of hours I put in that when I was little was crazy. And I came back years later. I'm still getting used to it. And Gears is one of those games where it's tough. I mean, this is tough. And honestly, as much as they talk about skill-based matchmaking and stuff, in this game, I'm seeing sweats all the time. I'm seeing really, really good players all the time. And that's not because I have some high KD or something. So this is a tough game, but it's one of those games that the more you play it, the more you get used to it, the more you learn, it delivers for you, right? So I get what people are frustrated on that, and I don't disagree with what this user said, but it certainly is something to keep in mind. The Star Wars HQ, another user, said, shotgun hit detection seems off at times, but it could be lag though. I've been having a blast with it though, not gonna lie. This is another, first of all, I think this is a really good point. It is every once in a while, you get kind of that weird moment of like the hit detection maybe being a little wanky. But I think he brings up a good point of this is another issue I think people have with Gears, and specifically me, is Gears of War, because the gunfights in Gears of War, and I know it's like this in all games, but specifically in Gears of War, there's so much going on, like the wall bouncing, and you might be getting taking fire from a million different places, but it becomes a thing where any little bit of lag is killer to you. And sometimes when you get killed, you just feel like, man, I don't know, the server just like, it just felt like I got killed in a weird way. Like that guy shot me before I even, like, there's no way he could have shot me that quick, right? There's no way. Or you feel a step slow. And sometimes maybe it's your own connection. Sometimes you feel it's the server's connection, like your connection to the server versus, well, I guess I don't really know how all of this even works. I'm just saying, like, sometimes it feels like lag is an issue, and it's not always just a personal lag issue, right? It's not always like my Wi-Fi stinks or something. It's just Gears of War, how the servers work. Um, and so I don't hate that response by him either. Another Twitter user. Well, first thing I would like them to do is fix the servers. Yeah, okay, we had the big server issue. Not much you could really argue with there. Another one. They have confirmed that they are not adding anything to the game. No additional maps, no extra skins, nothing. This glorified port was nothing but a cheap and quick cash grab to drive up interest before E-Day. In this game, lobbies will be a ghost town in a month. 3 tops. So this is someone who thinks this game is going to die out rather quickly. And certainly the server problems, like I'm not just talking lag, I'm talking if this is a game that has like real deal like we saw this weekend with it being down, that could definitely cause it too. And I understand a little bit why some people are frustrated with, I get it because remasters, people feel like, okay, we already got this game. You're just kind of putting a fresh coat of paint and adding slight things and you're charging us for it. I get that a little bit, right? And I understand why that's some frustration, but I also think you kind of know that going in. And just simply put, I don't have a problem with it because the way I look at it is sure, it's kind of a remake of a game we already have, but because of it, we had what in the first 3 days over 1 million players. I get to relive that experience again. Whereas there's really no way for you to relive the Gears of War 1 experience to this level without kind of making a remaster. So I understand it. I just think it's like, well, you kind of know that going in. And if you're really so against the kind of cash grab, as this guy's calling it, then you just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like I get it from like a theoretical standpoint of you're putting a fresh coat of paint on a game you already put out there and you're charging us for it. Not a fan of it, right? I understand why that would be frustrating to some. I'm just saying that if you told me they would do that or they wouldn't do that, I would prefer they would do it. The old movement, they changed it from Gears 1 on 360. Also add every map to execution. That's interesting. I haven't heard that one yet. I don't even really know much about the difference in movement, but um, sure. Horde mode or any kind of P versus E in Steam mod support. Yeah, this is something that I don't think you'll ever get from the old game. Remember, this is a remaster. Horde mode was in Gears 2. Um, and I do agree from the sense of, look, Call of Duty World at War, and I know I think it's Black Ops 3 that you could still do modded zombies in, and you can on Call of Duty World at War as well. But Call of Duty World at War custom zombie maps, let me tell you, it keeps that game alive and it keeps people buying it even to this day, right? Like that's the level that people love that. So I think this guy's onto something, not for this game, but for either the next one, E Day, or the Gears of War 2 remaster. If I'm telling you, if you go ahead and put in custom horde mode maps, they will keep this game alive forever on the PC. If you really want to show some love to PC users, which I don't have this game on PC, I bought it on the Xbox, but if you really want to show some love to PC users, this is how you do it. Okay? This is certainly how you do it. Jonathan Shaharier posted this: give console and PC players more adjustments for controller, mouse, and keyboard are at unfair advantage. They can move extremely fast while everyone with the controller are slow, even with the current settings maxed out. This is interesting because I've never used the mouse and keyboard, and I would have thought that mouse and keyboard would be tougher because it would be so hard for you to kind of like wall bounce. But maybe for really good PC players, that's the case. I will say they have to completely, and I'm sure they'll do this in E Day. I don't know if they'll do it on Reloaded, but the settings on this game are just not good. I mean, we should have a volume bar that we could make the volume be basically anything we want. They have like select presets on like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Sorry, like it's just not working for me. Like when the I'm like more susceptible to it because I'm trying to make content with it. So now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to go in afterwards on future videos and attempt to change that volume down, which I know isn't like the craziest, hardest thing in the world. It's just something that's kind of frustrating, right? It's something that I would prefer not to have to do. So when I look at that, that is something I go, you should make that change. It would be nice to be able to join an online co-op campaign without a friend invite to clear it or having to clear it the game first. Um, okay, yeah. I mean, I haven't played that yet, but that sounds like something that it is certainly in there because it just makes it easier for people to join. Remove Nasher aim error. The game ain't no Mario Kart, bro. Ranked playlist rotation. I hate starting in a social where everyone quits after they die once, and starting mid game also sucks. So this is tough because on one hand, this is a big concern I had with the beta on not the social, but the competitive, where when people quit on competitive, you're just stuck because nobody can join. So on competitive, that's a problem. Now on social, that's not as big of a problem because people will join and you keep getting new people in there. And there's actually been instances where people have joined my games, whether on the other team or on my team, and they're really good. So it changes the whole direction of the game either way. Like, okay, if we're playing a round based thing, like now we start winning or something, like stuff like that. So I actually can't be too mad about the social ones with people joining because otherwise it's like ranked where would I prefer people joining halfway through, and would I prefer people joining halfway through or versus people not joining at all? Yeah, I'd prefer that. Also, I will give them this. It's a little bit annoying when every time you load up, you kind of know you're getting into a game. And I don't have any evidence of this. This is completely anecdotal for me, but I have a problem where I will when you finish a match, you're sitting in the lobby, which feels like forever waiting for people to join. And I wonder if that's because, you have people quitting so often that those players are getting funneled into games already going. And so if you're in a lobby waiting, you're actually not going to get like it seems to take forever when you finish a game. And so I do think they have to even that out because I when I finish a game, I should be able to stay in that lobby, especially when they're giving you extra XP to stay in the lobby and keep going. You should be able to stay in that lobby and get into a second one just as quick as if I just quit out and started joining another one. So they got to kind of balance out between having someone join mid game and having someone join in a lobby. Fix one shot downs with the Nasher. So yeah, it seems to be um that seems to be pretty straightforward for everybody that they're not happy with how that goes. And by the way, Gears, I don't even know if this is a change that needs to be made. Gears is just a frustrating game when you're playing it. It is so hard. There are so many really, really good people. Like, I get it. Declan tweeted out this shotgun, one shot downs from a distance and consistent. So we saw another one. Lancer, no recoil, just beams people. Yeah, that's kind of I can get down with the shotgun one, but with the Lancer, that's just what the Lancer is, right? It's supposed to like make sure, like it's supposed to. Otherwise, the Lancer is almost useless. Like in Gears 2, effectively, the Lancer is kind of useless unless you're using the chainsaw. But on online, you're not going to be using that, and it's kind of useless. In this one, it's actually a pretty good weapon, and that's the only way you can have it like that is that it's very accurate and it kind of beams people. Um, and because in Gears 2, I was using the hammer burst. Frags could just be me, but the radius is too much. Boom shot, tired of having to use two at their feet and them still not dying to have to finish them off with a shotgun or a pistol. So the frags, I don't know if it's too much. It like sometimes frags I think are just harder. I think there is a good balance between hard to use and effective because you want them to be effective when used properly. Um, the fact that you can't place them on a wall makes it like because in Gears 2, that's when this comes into to play and it becomes like a very good way to take people out. But I mean, I know you could still get it on people. You could tag people with the frags, but I don't think there's a problem there. The boom shot, I do think there's an issue. And look, the boom shot, it's one of those things that's super frustrating to get killed by but if it's going to be in the game, it should have some sort of use because it is like maybe I just suck with it, but it's hard to use. Tune down the snub damage. It currently makes the Lancer Hammer Burst and Boltok seem useless. If not, I'll just keep using the snub, I guess. We need a tab in the War Journal that shows all unlocks. Well, game is awesome, but the servers have been down for almost the entire day. So another server thing. The ability to play the game can't even play a full game without getting disconnected. I don't know if it's possible actually to MB if it is, but I didn't see an option to join public co-op campaign, only hosting. Matchmaking shouldn't be using level, should be the people's KDs. Also, full teams should be matched with full teams. So, here's the problem with this is I do tend to agree with the full teams and full teams, but I also think we see this with Call of Duty, and I don't want to really put fire on like a really already a very hotly debated thing, which is skill-based matchmaking in the Call of Duty community. Don't yell at me, okay? I get it. People are on both sides have strong opinions. But I do agree with kind of the argument that's made against skill-based matchmaking by KD, which is what you're kind of doing is creating a game that is different for everybody. There's no connectivity where, okay, so when you're playing well and you have a good KD, that means you play with other people that have a good KD. And the people who don't have a good KD are constantly playing with people who don't have a KD. And so, like, what's the point of having a good KD at that point if you're only going to be playing better and better and better and better and better competition? It's different if you have a ranked mode, right? Where, okay, in a ranked mode, I'm on, silver 3. This other guy's on diamond 1 rank. It's like, yeah, okay, you got 50 kills in diamond 1. That shows you're just an amazing player versus getting 50 kills in bronze or something like that. If you don't have any of that already built into the game, then what you're just doing is basically rewarding people for being bad by playing against other bad players and people that are good playing against other good players. And this is coming from someone, right? And we're going to keep posting videos of my gameplay, and we don't shy away from showing you bad gameplays too. This is coming from someone that's not like some amazing like 2.0 KD, 3.0 KD, 4.0 KD Gears of War player. Like at my best, I'm like a 1 or a 1.2. I'm in games all the time where I am just getting destroyed by a team of 4 people in this game. Um, and so I get it's frustrating. I do. I'm always frustrated in those moments, but I just don't think it's good for the game to create kind of two different worlds almost. I think that's just kind of the online gaming experience of sometimes you just get your shit kicked in and you kind of suck it up and you just get better and better. And maybe one day you'll be good enough to, play with the top dog. So I just think, I never understood kind of the argument against the skill based matchmaking until I heard it put that way. And it's like, you kind of are, right? Like, the bottom line is if you make it where it's by KD, the people with 3.0 KDs are playing a completely different game than somebody who has a 1.0. And is that really what you want? No, you want everybody to kind of have an experience that is the same in terms of like, this is how hard it is or how hard, I just think skill based matchmaking is good in theory, but it doesn't always work all that well in practice. So you kind of have to take into other things into account. But once again, that's just my opinion. Nashor one shot down and hit reg feels like shots aren't hitting. So a lot more with the shotgun. I might be in the minority here, but I'd like to see how many pellets hit from the Nashor like in Gears 5 was a good quality of life update. Shotgun consistency. Servers boom shot not booming enough. Grenades can stun from way too far. Respawns on King of the Hill and Control. Restrict PlayStation players from using Lancer. LOL. More maps. Fix the one-shot downs. Let me view the cosmetics I have without having to enter a match. This is this point right here, and I'm going to go further than he goes, but this is an actual major quality of life thing that they should improve now. Most of this stuff you're hearing is either stuff that I don't mind them updating, but some of the stuff like more maps and stuff, this isn't going to probably come at all because this is just a remaster. But the fact that you can't view your war journal, the fact that you can't view really anything while you're waiting in the menu, or not the menu, you can view it at the menu, while you're waiting in a lobby is so stupid. You should be able to get that at all points. And maybe I missed it completely and there was a way to, or mid game, see how many deaths you have. I understand in like team deathmatch you can, but I should be able to, just like you could do in any really other, multiplayer shooter where you hit the button to bring up the leaderboard and you could scroll down the names and click on that. Like that should be something you could do at any point instead of what it is in this game where it's like really once you get into these matchmaking things like you can't check your KD, you can't check your win loss, like that sucks. Okay. Co-op campaign was advertised. LOL, I thought it would at least have matchmaking for it. This seems like another thing. They got to get that in there. A rework on the Xbox PlayStation social side of the game. It was broken in the beta and still is in the full game. See, this is something I find, and I don't really know fully all about this because I don't really use it, but this is like a real problem in my opinion. If you have a beta and you are asking for fixes, like you have to make sure that you deliver on like at least 99.9% of those, especially with something like this. Like you can't, like that just I think brings a level of frustration to people if that's not fixed. Achievements and trophies only tracking for the party leader. I want to play with friends, but that kills it hard for me. Didn't know that was the case. That's not good. Horde mode, with that said, I'm aware the original didn't have it until 2, but a guy can dream. Yeah, this is why they need to remaster 2 as well. But yeah, no problem. Need an actual ranked mode, not leaderboards. Not just whoever plays the longest is at the top. Interesting. Okay, so the more leaderboard stuff. Shotgun, shotgun, shotgun. More ranked game types. Maybe tweak the shoddy a little bit. I think they're going to add in this more. I think they're still trying to work out the matchmaking in this game because it is a tough puzzle. Um, so hopefully they fix that because yeah, right now ranked is not much at all. The matchmaking, so another person matchmaking, 5v5 or even a 6v6 mode would be awesome. This is true. Like I love 4v4, but a lot of games have I mean, I know we have the 2v2, but still. Fix the Nasher, add horde mode, more weapons from later Gears games. None of this will happen though because it was just a rush, cleaned up port of another remake ready for E-Day. So this is like this is the second comment we've heard, of this. And so to me, what's very clear is E-Day. This is why E-Day has to deliver. Like all of these things that they're reading for Reloaded, make sure that these are the case in E-Day at the very least, right? Like if there's a co-op campaign, have it be a matchmaking deal. Have the matchmaking fixed. Make sure there's a horde mode or something like that in there. On the PC, think about the reviews on Steam of this game that have not been very good. What better way to fix a lot of that than to say, you know what, we're going to add like a custom horde mode for the PC users that gives people a reason to get that version of the game. If you're going to go all out and just say, you know what, Gears is no longer an Xbox exclusive, then make it like that, right? Go ahead and make it like that. How about fix the PC problem that keeps saying that I can't connect to the multiplayer? Happened the same thing with the beta back then. Hit markers. I just want to know if my natural shot hits. Bring Guardian. Release Gears 2 or Gears 3. Fix the audio issues in the campaign. Add bots for private matches as well as having bots fill in empty slots in public matches. It's not a new thing, so why they didn't do it in Reloaded makes no sense to me. It really does feel like they just sold us UE again, like FIFA. Yeah, this is a good point because look, Gears 2 had bots. So, like yeah, I agree with that. Fix the Nasher issue, fix the UI. Agreed on the UI part. Add a feature to allow us to skip the progression bar and not have us back out to the main menu. Fix the desync and glitching movement. A character unlock screen to see all we've unlocked. Yes, make it not be the piece of shit Ultimate Edition was. That guy is not happy with the game. Hit registration is still broken from all those years ago from the original game. I would like to believe that it could be fixed, but that's wishful thinking. Field of view slider, please. Get rid of player lock with the RS. More characters / skins, something to make it more than Ultimate Edition other than a graphics update. We need 2 and 3 in Judgment on PC or a good remake. Ending of match lag needs to be fixed. Haven't been able to enter the multiplayer today. The pipe dream is Horde, but I know it's unlikely. Honestly, super upset they took out the original execution mode. I want Gears 2 added. The one shot down, the spread of the shotgun needs to be a better hit rate for the long distance needs to be cut back some. Games cheeks, okay. Bots and multiplayer, ultra wide support to actually work. Just add horde mode to servers. I don't think they'll fix or add anything, to be honest. Wingman, there is the 2v2 thing, right? And I've never actually played that one though, so I don't know how much that's like it. Shuffle the teams between games. F melee off in OSOK. It ruins the game mode bad. Highlight teammates when using TACCOM. The rain sequence felt so off to me. The OG had so much rain, and the atmosphere felt thick and gloomy. Now it's like 20 people are spitting from a rooftop. These effing servers. It's fun, but shotgun hit detection needs tweaking. So there's a lot of the kind of the same stuff here now that I'm reading through. But there's a lot of people. Look, I read all these, or I read a good chunk of them. I didn't read all of them, and I think all of those are kind of in the same vein. It seems like people are really hitting on the same stuff, and I definitely think like little things that people are bringing up would kind of feel so much better for people playing. Like I'm having a ton of fun with the game, but when I read stuff like this, I get some of the frustration as well of like UI. Like UI is very like it's a very simple thing to do by comparison to like fixing the matchmaking system, but it just brings like it just makes the game feel a lot better. When you can't do certain things, when there's not like they're saying a character unlock screen with a picture of all of the different characters you can have and when you unlock them and maybe a little description. Like little things like that make it feel a little bit less like just kind of, okay, they just remade this until E-Day comes out, and more like, okay, they really gave us something that we could be pumped for a year for, and that feels good. And I also think, and I have no problem with this, is that I almost feel like what they did here is kind of a beta in a sense, and we may even get an E-Day beta anyways, but it's kind of a beta for E-Day, where we look at this from the standpoint of all of these things that they asked to be fixed here, make sure that on E-Day, these problems don't exist. However long it takes, find a matchmaking system that works better than we currently have. The UI, make sure the UI is top notch. Everything that we want there. Just go through the horde mode. Look, people are giving you money printing here. Like a horde mode with custom maps would take this game, take Gears of War E-Day, and turn it into like you'll have the zombie community saying, let's give that a shot, right? I'm telling you, I will be all over that if we get a horde mode that is also with custom maps. Like if you could pull all of that off, I think they should do it. And I think the one of the things that's probably going to hold back some of this is that you don't want maybe the Steam version to outpace the Xbox and the PlayStation version. Let me just tell you, there's a group of people that will love to play it online anyways. Adding one thing that kind of gives the Steam version, it's just like with World at War. I'm telling you, I have, I think, 4 different copies of Call of Duty World at War on the PC. I have a hard copy. I have one on my Steam account. I have a brother and a cousin that both I bought them the game for as well. We have all of these different copies of it because we all wanted to play custom zombies back in the day. I bought them all back in the day. And to this day, I could go back and play those because those are so fun. Those are so awesome. You could create that with Gears of War E-Day if you just allow for that, you know? And so we'll see if they do it. I hope they do. And I think if the developers look at this thread, they'll see there's so much love for this game, and this game is great. I'm having so much fun with it. And there are so many slight fixes that they can make to make it even better. And then you know, come E-Day, it really has a chance to be a great game if they deliver on it. So thank you all for watching.